Hi everyone, welcome to our review of the new Warrior Ritual G7 Pro equipment. Our friends at Warrior Hockey UK have been extremely generous and have sent us not just the leg pads but also both specs of blockers and catchers as well. So we will be splitting this review into three parts so that we can give a decent amount of time to talk about the specs and the features of the leg pads, but also the difference in specs on the two blockers and the two catchers as well. So yeah, huge thank you to Warrior Hockey UK for sending us over to allow us to make this content and for letting us use it on the ice as well, which we'll be filming in the next couple of weeks. So let's get started with video number one, which will be looking at the leg pads. And I've not had a chance to review Warrior leg pads or gloves before, so really excited that I get to do so with the G7. And just from first impressions, having a look, they look really good. Big fan of the graphics. I think it's the best graphic that Warrior have put on a leg pad to date. And if you haven't done so already, please have a play around on the customizer, because with the graphics and the color zones there, you can make some really good looking designs. So really impressed with that. So the leg pad itself, it's a decent weight leg pad. It's not too heavy compared to pads that I've tested out in the last year or so. It's not the lightest, but it's far from the heaviest. So, and it's really well balanced as well. You get a lot of leg pads that where the materials are thicker at the bottom end, they tend to be a bit bottom heavy. But the G7 seems to be quite well balanced. So I'm looking forward to testing this out on the ice just to see if that translates to a nice balanced movement on the ice. So if we go through some of the features of the G7, Warrior have reinforced the thigh rise on the leg pad there, and they've done so using a mixture of high density impact foams and also Hypercomp, which is Warrior's advanced carbon composite. And what that offers is reduced weight of the whole leg pad, consistent rebounds throughout the pad surface, but also improved durability. Anytime you put sort of carbon composite layers into a leg pad, naturally it's stiffer, but it does improve the durability overall of the leg pad. So big fan of that. And you can see just how thin that thigh rise is, but it's solid. There's no bend in that whatsoever. It will eventually flex if you sort of break the leg pad in and give it a good go, but just straight out of the box, you can see, although it's very thin, it's extremely sturdy. So that's going to be a really durable leg pad, I can already tell. As we move down to the knee, we've got the knee drive system on the G7 there, but they've also combined that with Hypercomp. So that same carbon material is in the knee stack here. And what that'll do, as we've seen on other leg pads that I've reviewed over the last year or so, is create a really nice, stiff and stable knee block on there, which integrates into the pad surface there. So tons of stability on there. As you'll know from my other videos, I'm a huge fan of that feature, and have been on other leg pads that we've talked about with similar technology. But with the knee drive, they've got like the extended knee block there. That's about, I'd say, a good 2 inches or so longer than most of the other knee stacks on the market at the moment. So there's absolutely no chance of your knee falling off that knee stack. Extremely stiff, and the materials on the inside there, you can see nice pillowed sort of inner surface there, so it's going to absorb a lot of impact through the knee there, but nice and solid as we move through to the actual blocking surface there. So big fan of that. As we look at the polycarbonate sort of slide plates, I think these were introduced a couple of years ago on the G6. I've always really wanted to test these out. It's no secret that ice surfaces in the UK aren't the greatest. We don't get the best ice quality, so anything that helps us to slide better, I think, is only going to be a positive. So really excited to test those out. But big plus as well that if for whatever reason you don't like them, they are removable. So if you just prefer to have the normal surface on there, you can just take these off, no problems whatsoever. So we move further down to the sort of the leg channel and the strapping onto the cuff. We've got the stability or the stabilizing leg channel wedge on the bottom here. So if I move this Velcro out of the way, you can see you've got this big wedge of padding there, which a few manufacturers have been introducing over the last few years. I'm a big fan of it because it helps to keep the lower leg nice and stable when you're dropping into butterfly. It stops the leg pad sort of rattling around on the bottom half of the leg. But what I really like from this one on the Warriors is that it's adjustable and removable. So you can take this out here and you can move that up or further down wherever you want it. Or if you don't like it, you can just take it out altogether. So I'm a big fan of that. Anything that allows you to tailor a leg pad and customize it and tweak it to exactly how you want it, I'm a huge fan of. So well done on that one, Warrior. That's a really good feature that I like there. One thing I forgot to cover on the front, we have the Cover Edge Plus pad design, or the pad face design. I think this first came out on the G5s a few years ago. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. but it's just a slightly forward-facing pad surface. So on the ice, there's just ever such a slight tilt to the pad surface there. And what that does is optimizes coverage. So if you imagine the puck's down on ice level, it sort of faces down, so the puck is only ever going to bounce back down, and sort of allows you to control those rebounds. There's no unpredictability with the rebounds popping up. And if you combine that with the reinforced outer roll here, sort of nice, thick, sort of solid outer roll, there's no chance of sort of skip over, the puck sort of skipping over the top of the leg pad and sort of squeaking in behind you. So really, really nice features there. Really small attention to detail that I really, really like on the Warrior pads there. So as you go back to the calf area there, Warrior have streamlined the calf wrap area, and they've just sort of tidied it up, just decluttered it a little bit. So what we have now is just a nice simplified sort of streamlined calf wrap area. So there's less sort of binding up of the materials in there. The little wraps don't sort of all bunch up together depending on how you strap them. And also there's a bit of sort of weight saving there as well. So big fan of that. It's taken away things that didn't need to be there, and just sort of simplified it all over. As we move down to the sort of the toe box area, we've got the active responsive strapping in the heel and the toe here. Never tried this before. So I'm interested to see on how it holds up, both in terms of sort of comfort, adjustability, and also durability, because there's a lot of plastic in here, which always worries me with leg pads. But I'm a fan of how adjustable it is. So we have sort of two different clips that you can put your heel strap on, and we've also got this this toe strap which comes across here, which I've never tried. It looks a bit strange to me, but I'm willing to give it a go just to test it out. But it is removable. You can see through here that the whole thing's removable. And you've got the adjustable toe box in there. So if you want to do more traditional toe ties or bungee ties, you can easily tie those in there. So it's really, really tailorable to however you like to set your leg pads up. And the same has to be said as well for the calf area. I should have covered this before. If we move all of this out of the way, you can see that we have different sort of strap areas to put your leg pad straps through. So if you want it tighter or looser, you can fully tailor that to however is most comfortable for you, which I really like to see. I didn't notice this at all until I took the calf pillow out. I didn't notice that you could do this, but I'm a big fan of it because I think the more that you can tailor a leg pad, like I said before, and customize it to your own fit, the better it's going to be. So as a whole, yeah, I'm a huge fan of these. I'm really, really looking forward to testing these out on the ice. I think that if they feel as good as they look and as good as the features look, that they're going to perform absolutely amazing. So stay tuned for that footage. And please come back for part 2, where we'll be talking about the blockers and the difference in specs between the G7 and the G7 7.1.